Unicity UniMate is a supplement I think is getting pretty popular, judging from all the questions I've been getting about it lately. So in this quick video, let's look at the ingredients in UniMate, the research on it, the return policy, the company, etc., and see what we can figure out. So here is some of the benefits that are listed on the Unicity website for the UniMate supplement. Support feelings of well-being and relaxation, help your weight management efforts, promote ketone production in the body, help your cholesterol, etc. All this sounds great. Let's look at the research on UniMate and see what we can figure out about it. So there is a research study that has been conducted by the Unicity company. This comes from clinicaltrials.gov, and it appears to show that the study has indeed been completed, and it involves essentially intermittent fasting and a combination of the UniMate supplement and the Unicity Balance supplement, which I previously reviewed. So I'm really glad that the Unicity company is pumping money into their dietary supplements. It speaks a lot about them. The issue I only have right now is the study does not appear to be published in a medical journal. I cannot find any research on UniMate listed on the Unicity website. So hopefully that'll change in the future, and when it does, I'll definitely do an updated video on it. So let's now move on to UniMate itself. And there are a lot of different versions of Unicity UniMate. I'm only showing you 4 here. I couldn't quite fit them all on the screen at one time, but they have some things in common that I want to call your attention to. Number one, I would point out that UniMate, the word, is made up. Probably good marketing on the company's part. When you Google UniMate and you put it in quotation marks, pretty much everything shows up is associated with Unicity. So what they call UniMate is an herbal ingredient that some people call Yerba Mate or Yerba Mate. Now with me, with my primitive linguistic skills, I usually default to the common denominator name and just call it Yerba Mate. So if I make that mistake here in this video, you linguistic purists, don't penalize me on it. So UniMate and Yerba Mate are the same thing. It's within the Yerba Mate plant that you get all the chlorogenic acids and the saponins and the vitamins, minerals, etc. that the plant has. Now, another thing I'll call your attention to here is that lemon and lemon ginger have 3 grams of the UniMate Yerba Mate ingredient. However, if you go to salted caramel or the ultimate fuel, you are seeing 2 grams of the Yerba Mate ingredient. Something else I want to call your attention to here is if you are gravitating towards the salted caramel version of UniMate, you are getting 23% of your daily value for salt. What I'm saying here is salted caramel is really salted. It's got 520 milligrams of salt per packet, and a packet is 13.8 grams in this version, which is actually twice the amount that you see in either lemon or lemon ginger. So it's high in sodium, and it's also high in saturated fat. It's got 6 grams of saturated fat, which is 30% of your daily allotment for saturated fat per day, and that fat comes from coconut oil. Same thing over here with the ultimate fuel UniMate. It also is very high in saturated fat, 30%. So, and again, it's coming from coconut oil, which even though coconut oil has this healthy reputation, keep in mind that it is over 90% saturated fat. Okay, so what is the research for Yerba Mate, the plant itself? So we've got this study from 2015, which appears to show that Yerba Mate modulates the expression of some genes that are associated with obesity and restores them to their natural expression. That's fine and good, maybe plays a role in weight loss. And this is also something that I see hinted at on the Unicity website. We also have this paper, which appears to state that Yerba Mate will slow down the emptying of contents from the stomach. This, in theory, can improve satiety, making you feel fuller longer than you really are, and in theory may also help promote weight loss. Now, that begs the question, can Yerba Mate cause people to lose weight? And that brings us to this paper, the Anti-Obesity Effects of Yerba Mate, a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial. So 30 overweight men and women are given either a placebo or 3 grams, 3,000 milligrams, of either a placebo or Yerba Mate, and it's given either a capsule form or as a beverage. They follow these people for 3 months, and they find that those who were taking the Yerba Mate supplement had lower body fats than those who were taking a placebo. Let's look at the numbers. So here is the before and after body fat levels of the people who were taking Yerba Mate, visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. What I would say here is there is a decline here, but I don't think it is real life significant because it doesn't look like it's an awful lot to me. And I can tell from the what's called the p-values here that it's also not clinically significant fat loss either. But what about weight loss? Let's look at the numbers again. So we have the before and after body weight and even waist circumference of these individuals who were taking the Yerba Mate ingredient for 3 months. And we can see that there is a decline of about 1 pound after taking the Yerba Mate ingredient for 3 months. Again, I'll leave that to your discretion if you think that's significant or not. I would point out that from a scientific perspective, the weight loss was not clinically significant, which I've annotated in green here. So according to this study, 3 months of Yerba Mate probably not leading to an awful lot of weight loss. A potential drawback to this study, however, is how they measured body fat. They actually used a technology called bioelectric impedance, which is good. It'll get you in the zone, but it's not seen usually as accurate as, say, DEXA scan or underwater weighing. Now, generally, Yerba Mate appears to be relatively safe, but there is one thing I want to call to your attention that I think you should know about, and that is Yerba Mate has a reputation in some circles as being a promoter of cancer. Here we see a study from the 1980s that appears to show that being exposed to Yerba Mate as a beverage appears to increase cancer. Various types of cancer, stomach cancer, kidney cancer, throat cancer, mouth cancer. And the risk also appears to increase as well in smokers and heavy drinkers as well. In this study, they found that there was a 5-fold increase in those who were heavy consumers of Yerba Mate beverages. Here's another paper from the 1990s, which also appears to show that Yerba Mate consumption is associated with the risk of cancer. So how might Yerba Mate beverages be triggering cancer in some people? Hard to say. Some researchers had pointed to the occurrence of polycystic aromatic hydrocarbons like benzopyrenes, which have been found in Yerba Mate. And adding another wrinkle to this controversy is the temperature of the beverage you drink Yerba Mate in may also play a role as well. Hot beverages such as Yerba Mate tea have also been implicated in throat cancers, for instance. And the theory here is the temperature of the beverage may injure the mucosal lining, opening up the pathway for perhaps cancer to manifest itself. Now, I looked into this further and found some out there, such as the Mayo Clinic, stating that the risk for cancer from Yerba Mate use increases when you consume anywhere from 4 to 8 cups of Yerba Mate tea a day. That's going to be far less than someone who's consuming 1 packet of Unicity UniMate per day. And I also want to throw out there that there is no evidence that the Unicity UniMate supplement is linked to cancer in anybody. I see no evidence for that. I've looked into it. I didn't see anybody talking about that. So that's good news for those who actually like this supplement. More good news is that the Better Business Bureau gives the Unicity company an A rating. Oddly, it's only got 3 out of 5 stars when I looked the last time. I did not see a lot of customer complaints listed on the Better Business Bureau website. I would invite you to check it out for yourself by the time you see this video. Maybe things have changed. I don't know. I would also point out, however, that the Unicity company has been around a long time, since the 1980s. So it's actually got a lot more longevity than a lot of other supplement companies that I've seen over the years. So now moving on to the price of UniMate. These are not all the versions that are out there. These are only ones that could kind of fit on the screen. But you'll notice they do have in common the price. $109 per box, and a box will contain 30 packets. So if you do that math, UniMate comes to about $3.60 per packet, and I will leave that to you to decide if that is expensive or not. Now, there is one more thing I do want to point out to you, and that is the return policy that Unicity actually has if you buy any of their supplements. So the first thing I'd point out is that Unicity supplements come with a 60-day money-back guarantee, It's 90 days, however, if you purchase the Unicity Balance supplement, which I did a video on previously. And while that's not too bad, here's where things get a little weird. If you want to get a refund on Unicity supplements, you have to send them a signed letter telling them you want a refund and the reasons why you want a refund. Now, I'm not quite sure what they mean by signed letter. Does that mean a letter you mail to them physically in the mail, or does an email that you sign suffice? I'm not quite sure about this. So if you're a UniMate distributor, absolutely leave a comment below and enlighten me on this. Something else you need to do if you want a refund is you have to send everything back to them. Send the bottles back, send the unopened bottles back, the open bottles, everything. Send everything back to the company when you request your refund. Failure to do that is probably going to be a problem if you're trying to get your money back. And then the other weird thing about the refund policy is after you get a refund, you have to send them another letter saying that you got a refund, which again, I've never run into that before in all the years I'm investigating dietary supplements, but it is what it is. And so if you're trying to get your money back, you got to follow their policies. Oh, and one more thing I will point out is that the refund policy is only good for customers of Unicity and not distributors. I'm not sure what the policy is for distributors. So again, if you are an ambassador for Unicity, comment below and let me know about that. So that is my take on Unicity UniMate. If you have any questions, leave them below. And until next time, take care out there.